In this video we will go through disassembly, look at points of wear and reassembly of the hammer. Here are the basic tools we will be using. Before starting work on the hammer, ensure that all safety aspects are met, such as personal protective equipment like gloves and safety glasses. Also make sure the hammer is in a stable position so it can't fall and cause injury. If possible, work in a clean area, away from dirt and dust, to stop any debris entering the hammer. The hammers should be removed from the rig, cleaned and inspected approximately every 7,000 metres of drilling. To begin, remove the chuck and bit retaining ring, then remove the top sub. Then you'll be able to remove the check valve plunger, check valve spring and check valve holder. Next, get a piece of wood or steel and place it in the chuck end to push on the piston. This will drive out the internal components. First is the makeup block assembly. Next is the assembly containing the air distributor, the mount and buffer rings, and also the locking ring the mount sits on. Then finally the piston can be removed. The hammer is now disassembled, the components can be inspected. Check the condition of the piston strike face. If there are minor dents and scratches, the piston will be fine to use. If it's heavily indented or there are any cracks, it must be discarded. Check the bearing points of the piston for any burning or burrs. If found, it indicates the hammer has not been getting enough oil during operation. They can be removed with a fine emery cloth. Also check internally for the same. Also check the air distributor for burns and treat as per the piston. If it's heavily scored, it must be discarded. Inspect the chuck splines for damage. Burning will indicate more oil is required. If a bit is shanked, it will damage the splines and it should be replaced. Control tube and mount assembly. Cut one buffer ring so it can go around the large diameter of the air distributor. Then sit the other on top. Get one half of the mount and place it over the cut buffer ring. Then the other, and finally put the O-ring in its groove. For the makeup block assembly, place the rubber over the thread and screw the other half down until it drops into a void. This is to ensure that hammer components are kept in place correctly when the top sub is tightened. Bit retaining rings should be kept in sets. This is to ensure correct fitment and alignment of the bit in the hammer. Reassembly of the hammer. Whenever a hammer is being assembled, threads must be greased and all internal components must be oiled. Take the bit retaining ring and place it in the chuck end against the internal shoulder. Then screw the chuck all the way in. Take the piston and place it in the top end of the hammer, strike face end first. Push it down past the locking ring groove. Insert the locking ring open end to the top. Get a tool with a groove in the end to push the locking ring into place. A hook tool may be required to get it into the correct location. Next, insert the air distributor assembly. With the use of a tool, gently guide the assembly in, being careful not to cut the O-ring on the thread. Next, insert the makeup assembly. This can go in either way. Now you can install the check valve guide, spring and check valve plunger. Finally, the top sub can be screwed into place. When the hammer is assembled hand tight, there will be a gap remaining between the top sub and wear sleeve. This needs to be completely closed up on the drill rig before operation.